Hey, Steve Gamache here for Chef Knives to Go, and today we're taking a quick look at the Yoshimi Kato Hino Shitogami, our white number 2 Gyuto 210mm knife. So this knife is very interesting and really well made, and really cool aesthetics on it. So this knife has a 3-layer construction. The core center cutting edge steel is Shitogami, our white paper number 2 reactive high carbon steel, so it is reactive. Heat treats about 61 to 62 Rockwell on that core steel, and it has a very interesting looking soft stainless cladding on either side of that Shitogami number 2. You can see the cladding line right there. You've got a really interesting, nice cladding demarcation line where the grind starts down towards the edge. So this is the cladding right here. And then there's a kind of a basket weave pattern impressed onto the steel. It's very interesting looking. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife, but this particular one is 157 grams or 5.5 ounces. And the edge length is right about 215 millimeters or about a little under 8.5 inches. The overall length is about 355 millimeters with this handle, or about 14 inches. And then thickness-wise, this style of knife usually has a thicker spine coming out of the handle, which this one does. And so above the back of the cutting edge, it's about 3 millimeters thick, and then it thins out pretty quickly. About halfway down, I got a 2.3 millimeters. And then we don't have a ton of taper, but there's a little bit of distal taper where it starts to get a little thinner, and then it really starts to thin out with the grind. So you can see as you get that last, 3/4 of an inch, the grind kicks in. It's a pretty generous grind right there, and then it's very thin at the edge. So nice thin tip for performance. That's a real thin tip, folks. And then here is the back side, the choil, and again, nice and thin at the edge. So this will have really good performance. Height-wise, it's about 47 millimeters high, and the handle's really nice looking. It's a D-shaped handle. I'm a lefty. These D-shaped handles that are kind of righty oriented don't bother me at all. So for me, as a lefty, it's just kind of the curve on the back, and some people actually put their thumb right here that are lefties. So for me, I'm pinch gripping a knife blade, so for me, that really doesn't get in my way at all. So don't worry about D-shaped handles if you're a lefty. At least for me, it doesn't bother me a bit. This is a real pretty handle. So it's sandalwood for the main part. It's got some nice figure to this particular one. And then black packawood, which is stabilized wood product at the ferrule. And we've got a good tight glue-up job where it goes into the handle. So nicely done there. So nice fit and finish on these. Handle circumference, let's say about 74-ish millimeters, right where the two materials meet. And then you've got a curved, the choil, the back of the blade, and it's curved into the neck that goes into the handle. So you got a good spot for your finger there for a pinch grip. A balance point on this, with the handle being a little shorter, is in it's called a wa, or Japanese handle's lighter, so there's your balance point. So that's going to bring that balance point forward. And for me, that is almost right on the money for my pinch grip. So that's going to be real neutral for most people. If they use a pinch grip, that pinch part is going to be very neutral, so it's going to make that knife feel even lighter than it is. Let's do our beauty shot here for the cover of the video. This one's got a lot going on here, so I guess we'll do that. Very nice looking blade. You can see we've got, kind of a sanded finish down on where the grind starts. Nice demarcation line, cladding line there that's got some wavy marks to it. You do have some laser etched kanji in here. It's a little hard to tell with the basket weave, but there's your basket weave, and then you do have some laser kanji on there. And then here's the left side of the blade. So it's a very interesting looking blade. This basket weave will help a little bit with food release, as well as being interesting. I've got a couple of knives that have this style, and there's no problem cleaning them, so don't worry about food getting in there. It really isn't an issue as long as you clean it well, wipe it down. And of course, this is reactive steel on the core, so you'll want to use it, clean it, wipe it down, dry it really well, then put it away. So make sure it's completely dry before you put it away. Don't let it sit wet. What else? Very nice fit and finish. We covered that. The out of the box edge is real nice. I'll give it a 6, maybe 7 out of 10. It's really done well, and it's got a bit of polish or high grit finish to it, so it's quite sharp out of the box and definitely probably quite usable until you decide to put your own edge on it. Here is the cutting board profile of this blade. So doesn't have a lot of flat to it. It just kind of flows into the heel. You can kind of see that in this rock here. So we flow into the heel, and then the tip is not super high on this one. It's a fairly low tip, the center line, but I can still get up in there. So this will rock nicely over stuff and push-pull cuts, glide cuts. Not a very big chopper per se. The back half will give you some capability, but not a lot of flat to it. But still a pretty versatile profile. So just a real nice looking package, high quality steel. You got that great, easy to sharpen Shitogami. My cutting board fell over there. Shitogami number 2, so almost nothing sharpens as nicely as that. Let me put my spacer back in here so it doesn't blind you. We'll do that. There we go. So this is the Yoshimi Kato Hino Shitogami number 2, a Gyuto 210mm knife.